Yo, what's good guys? Back with another home video. I just wanted to discuss something that was brought to my attention this morning after having a discussion with a friend about his own preparations for a bodybuilding show. We were discussing cheat meals, and I noticed that I had quite a strong opinion on cheat meals and a specific opinion and approach to what I would do with cheat meals and when would I introduce them into someone's plan, what's the benefit of them, and I thought I'd just share it with you guys because this is obviously just a channel where I like to express myself and it's purely my opinion. You don't have to agree, you're not inclined to agree, discussion's a great thing. I will always speak from what I believe to be the case, you know. My channel is purely for me to express how I feel about certain topics, and it's here to create discussion. So I was having this discussion about cheat meals and I was like, you know what, they're not really warranted for a lot of the time. And then I started thinking about, why do I have a meal off, what's the benefit, what's the reasons for it, and it came down to being time dependent. It comes to, when is a bodybuilder, where is the bodybuilder, sorry, in their preparations for, say, a competition versus their off season, etc. And I came to, you know, the opinion that for me personally, the only reason I have a cheat meal or a meal off in the off season is social. There's no physiological benefit. I'm not doing it to improve my training performance. I'm not doing it to get the calories in. I'm purely doing it because one night a week I'll go and see some friends and I don't want to have to think about what I'm eating, and I'd like to enjoy some food with a couple of friends. There is literally no actual benefit physiologically for that cheat meal. And you can sit there and argue all day, yeah, it's good because it does this and that. But the truth of the matter is, after a long period of thought, that is all that matters. It's just about me being comfortable, enjoying myself, socialising, feeling a bit human for an hour of the week. Again, it's not regimented in to be like, oh yeah, because if you eat that tomorrow you're going to be able to lift more. No, no, no. What you have to understand is, with like cheat meals and stuff, when you're pushing your body weight up, is in an off season, your main goal and objective is to be able to eat as many calories as you can without causing digestive stress issues, allowing your stomach to tolerate the foods that go in. And the easiest way to do that is by not having meals off, by eating clean ingredients from foods that you eat all year round, that you're used to and that you know digest well. So one of the worst things you can actually do, and I know this myself, is to go and eat something completely off plan, because my stomach gets wrecked every time. But does that mean I won't do it? No, it doesn't mean I won't do it, because I will eat once a week just to have that enjoyment that I said that is important. But like I said, if the evidence is there itself, what does your stomach do after that cheat meal? How do you feel? You're going to be lethargic. In an off season, when you push your weight and you eat that meal, it's going to impede your digestion. It's going to make you feel lethargic. It's making you feel tired. It might even make it hard to eat the rest of the meals for the day. And I'm not someone that's like, oh yeah, but I've got my calories from that meal, so it doesn't matter if I miss a meal. No, I'm not just about calories. I'm about getting that quality proteins, quality carbohydrates, fueling yourself, recovering, and being ready to go again and to train optimal the same day, next day, whenever it may be. Is there a time for cheat meals? Yes, there certainly is. But this is a very specific thing and very independent on the person. So if someone's getting ready for a show and halfway through their diet, let's say they're dieting for 16 weeks and they get 8 weeks in, if that body weight starts to run away from them, if they start losing weight rapidly, and increasing their regular food doesn't seem to help, then a cheat meal for me personally would be warranted. Another thing is as well, the intended purpose of a cheat meal to give you performance improvement or pumps is only going to work when your body is depleted. It's not going to work when your body's saturated. So in an off season, you put a cheat meal on top of your regular food, like I say, it's going to be sluggish. If you're extremely depleted and you've been dieting your ass off and working really hard, and you put a meal in that's off plan, very likely that you're going to feel the effects and actually get something out of it. I've worked with many coaches. They've all had their own approach. I think most of them are very aware of when a cheat meal is necessary, especially Chris Aceto, Jordan Peters. Those two, when I've worked with them, have noticed myself depleting quite rapidly in a prep, or energy levels starting to dip massively, and then they've introduced cheat meal. Chris was very known for it when we worked with Sasan. I remember we were in California in 2018, and Sasan was so ready for the show that literally every day Chris gave him 1 meal off to eat burger and fries just to keep on top of himself and his body running away from him. There's obviously hormonal reasons as well. Leptin levels, when you're on an extremely low calorie diet for a long period of time, can be reduced, and it can cause issues there. So you can reintroduce those cheat meals to help increase leptin and improve appetite again, and improve fat loss, because you prevent that stalling of the metabolism. If you're running a very low calorie diet for a long period of time, the body kind of reaches homeostasis. It can adjust and be like, do you know what, I know I'm only getting this much food, so I'm going to preserve. So you're trying to avoid that from happening, and a good way to avoid that from happening is to spike your nutrition here and there with a high calorie meal, so that it doesn't get used to that steady consumption of calories. You can obviously do that with carb cycling, you can do that with increasing calorie days, but like I say, depending on how depleted you are, then that's going to warrant whether you have a high carb day or a cheat meal. For example, me last year getting ready for the Olympia, there was a period where my body was starting to run away from me, and we did try to combat it with increased food, but unfortunately increasing regular ingredients in my diet didn't take the effect that was desired. It actually, if anything, just maybe even sped up the process. Metabolism kind of bumped up. I was still kind of in a deficit, but the engine was running faster than it should have been, and everything just ran away. So it does happen. That's when I would again introduce these meals, and they could be pretty frequently. I know many people who have got close to a show and had to have one multiple times a week. If you check someone like Nathan Diasha when they're getting ready for a show, you'll notice that he has prescribed cheat meals quite often. Again, I'm not warranting them. I'm not saying that everyone should have them, because some people can prep really neatly and really nicely and just lose 0.5 pounds a week, 1 pound a week, and come in absolutely spot on. And that's fine. And if you can avoid it, then avoid it. It's not a must. It's not a necessary. It's not like, oh, when I'm prepping, I will have to have cheat meals. I would say the larger bodies are probably more likely to need them. So, you know, if you're in shape at 250 pounds, stage ready, those are the guys that are a lot harder to keep full and to keep their muscles looking good. I have noticed with, like, you know, lighter individuals that you can push their bodies quite a lot harder and they don't lose that pop as easily, because they're not, the margin of fullness and flatness isn't as vast because they're not as heavy. You know, I've obviously worked and prepped people in the past. Typically have the most success with the lighter guys, because I feel like like I said, they're a lot easier to prep, because the margins are that much narrower than the big guys. A lot of people have a hard time prepping people that are over 250 pounds on stage, because there's a massive difference between coming in looking good at 250 and bad at 250. Like, you could be 260 on stage at one show and 250 at the next if you're a big guy, because the margins are that vast. So depending on what you've done, it can really, really swing. What else to say about cheat meals? I suppose don't just have them in the off season, because if you're doing them for, well, have them in the off season if you're like me and you just admit it is purely just for an entertainment thing. It's literally so you can socialise. But I would not advise having ingredients with your meals like cookies, muffins, just to try and bump the calories up, because at the end of the day, I honestly think they're going to impede your digestion. I would much rather you have 7 meals a day than 6, and make sure you get an extra clean meal in that has, you know, those calories that you were sought after, but in that meal. Or use different foods that are good, like use some healthy foods. Use some, you know, I've been recently doing sunflower seeds as a fat source in my last 2 meals of the day. You know, obviously I had the choice of putting other stuff in my diet. I could have had a muffin here and there, but like, honestly, that's when I noticed body composition starts to get worse. It's when you start putting these foods in that the macronutrients are kind of accelerated quite high, like fats are high, sugars are high, carbs are high, all going into you at one time. That causes issues with body comp for sure. That's when my insulin sensitivity also feels like it's crashing. Whereas if you moderate your individual macronutrients yourself, you're far more in control. Like, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of strong guys, a lot of great people that lift a lot of weight and train really hard in the gym that eat some shit food. But even I would say to them, could you look better? Could you stay in slightly better shape? Could your composition be a little bit better in the off season and your muscle mass be a little more present? Because the fatter you get, I've said this on a video before, the fatter you kind of get, the fatter you get. the more fat you hold, the more likely your body is going to hold fat, you know. Whereas if you stay leaner, muscle is easier to gain. And I'm not saying you've got to be shredded all year round, you haven't got to be like 10%, but, you know, don't let it get away from you. You don't need love handles, you don't need a massively fat lower back. You can stay in relatively good shape and have a really successful off season. There's a few people out there now I know that are training very hard, and I would like to say to them personally, like, just change your nutrition a bit. I've seen what you do. It is, you know, I understand your philosophy. You're trying to come in and eat the calories because you want to get big. I've been there. Been young, been hungry, been the guy that's like, you know what, if I just put in as much food as I can, I'm going to be as big as possible. It doesn't work like that. But like I say, if you start to swing your body in an environment that is fat, you just get fatter. And then when you come to show prep, you're going to have to lose 40 pounds to get in shape. And then you're going to lose all that hard-earned tissue that you tried to build in the off-season. Again, I'm just being honest. Just sharing my opinion on something. Making these videos for you guys of the future to be able to make smart decisions and smart choices and be able to accelerate your potential sooner rather than make mistakes like I have and then have to wait many years to be able to see yourself at your best. You know, I don't know everything. I first to admit that, guys, you know, I messed up last year myself. You know, got to that Olympia stage and didn't bring what I wanted, but you know, again, it's something to learn from, and then what I will do is learn from that, and I will pass it on to you guys. I'll try and help you guys by just doing these videos in order to allow you guys to just excel, like become something great and not waste a lot of your life doing it, you know. And if any other notes to leave you with, just trying to think. Obviously these are the off the cut videos, so I just sit here when something comes to mind and I just chat with you and make sure I fire it out, and then it's offloaded, and then you do what you want with the information. Last thing then I'll say, if you're going to have like meals off, don't be that guy that's like next day, okay, I'll just do 40 minutes of cardio instead of 30. You know, regiment your cheat meals and just continue with the plan. I know Matt Jansen said something kind of similar recently where he said he doesn't believe in like that punishment theory where if someone makes a mistake in a diet that you slap them on the wrist. He prefers just to wake up the next day and crack on. And I'd say the same to you guys. When I have my meal off once a week, whenever it may be, I don't wake up the next day with a guilt and be like, oh, I better do extra cardio because of this. What I do is I just make sure I train hard in the gym. You know, I tell myself, okay, let's go to the gym, let's just try and use this and get the most out of it. So, yeah, guys, just another short video. Hope some of that makes sense. If you're confused about anything or if you have any conflicts of what I say, that's great. It's all about discussion and debate. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be more of these, like I say. This is Off the Cut episode 2. Peace, love from myself, Redcon1, and the Lair. Peace, guys.